Hello and welcome to the Dig Your Vibe podcast, where you learn all about how to have a more high vibrational lifestyle. I want to start off by introducing myself. My name is Nicole Veda, and the reason why I decided to start recording this podcast was because I have been on quite the journey for the past few years, starting from many years back, but really focusing on it in the past few years. And I wanted to share that journey. I didn't always know what it was called. I didn't always have a specific word to put to it, but really this has been a journey towards having a more high vibrating lifestyle. Now, I made this podcast because I wanted to talk about this journey with a community who is either on the same journey or with absolutely anybody who feels like they're ready to take the steps needed to begin. I thought it could be really helpful if we had a place where we could all talk about our journeys together, whether you have been on this journey for years or whether you're just starting, wherever you are. I thought it might be a really good idea to have a podcast where I not only share my experiences and everything that I've learned, but also take from what you guys know and take from everything that the whole community knows to help us along on this journey. Another important thing to know is that I am not an expert at all by any means. I am just a girl who has been spending the last few years of my life really trying to better myself, trying to find a higher version of myself, and trying to take all of everything that has happened to me, everything that I've experienced, and all the knowledge that I have gained through those experiences and through the different workshops and the different discussions that I have had with different people to make a more positive impact on the world. Just like so many of you, I have been through so many stages of my life, all of which that I really want to discuss in further detail in a later podcast where I talk about life stages and how you can calculate each one or how you can determine what life stage you're in. But I mean, when I was growing up, I really struggled with self-confidence and self-worth. I've worked really hard to get to the point that I am, and I'm really proud of the journey that I've been on. And I mean, man, has it been a journey growing from where I used to be and healing from my past experiences. But I would honestly be lying if I claimed that that journey was complete and that I was 100% self-secure. It's still something that I'm working on all the time. But the one concept that has really helped guide me and keep me focused on that goal of growth and keep me focused on my journey towards being a better version of myself and having more confidence and self-worth and feeling even just confident in my path, in knowing that I am going to be okay, is the concept of vibrating higher. At the beginning of this year, I had the absolute pleasure of going to the Mind, Body, Soul retreat that was hosted here in El Paso, Texas by the amazing Luciano Garcia, and who I really hope to interview in a future episode, by the way. So during this retreat at the beginning, we had this whole awesome workbook that we were working through during the duration of the retreat. And at the very beginning, we were asked to think of a word that was going to define 2019 for us. Previously, a word that had been really important to me was the word balance. So I thought of that one, but then I wanted something that really encapsulated everything that I was striving for, everything that I was growing towards. And I thought about a lot of the readings that I had done, a lot of my research, a lot of just discussions, and then also just buzzwords that pop up on social media due to the accounts that I follow and what I'm looking into. And the word that really spoke to me, that popped up into my mind, was vibrate higher. And since then, it has become one of my biggest mantras that has really gotten me through a multitude of highs and lows that I've experienced this year. 2019 has been an absolutely incredible year. I have gone through so many experiences. I previously thought that I had grown so much. I thought that, I've gone through so many difficult situations and so many hard things that I was like, man, I've grown. I have built my strength. But your guides and your path and the whole awakening process really has a way of showing you that you're never done growing, and there's always another lesson that you're meant to learn. And sometimes it's been hard. Sometimes this year has been rough. But I feel as though the reason why I've been able to get through it is with keeping that mantra in mind, knowing that I wanted to vibrate higher, that I wanted to have a more high vibrational lifestyle. It really kept me in check through a lot of the feelings that I was going through, and a lot of the way I would have reacted previously to these situations and how I would have dealt with them previously. So I guess that's the reason why, it's the main reason why I wanted to make this podcast. The concept of vibrating higher, the idea of having a more high vibrational lifestyle has gotten me through so much that I really just wanted to share my experiences with you. And maybe if you're already on that journey, learn something from anybody else who's on that journey as well. Have those discussions, be able to talk about this with one another. Maybe there's even somebody who is going through a similar thing and is like me a few years ago, where they didn't know exactly, maybe you don't exactly know how to put the words to it. This journey that I've been on has been, the past few years I've really been focusing on it, but this has been a journey that I've been on throughout my whole life to really build myself up from what I used to be. And if I can either catch anybody at the beginning of this journey or be able to share the journey with anybody else who's on it, I just thought it would be such a beautiful thing to have that experience. So I guess if we want to talk about high vibrations, or we want to talk about vibrating higher, we have to start talking about how we commonly see that. So what I most commonly see in terms of vibrating higher, high vibrations, is the word vibes. For quite a few years now, we have heard the word vibes most commonly associated with the phrase good vibes. We see a lot of motivational quotes, a lot of beautiful pictures, a lot of Instagram captions with the phrase good vibes only, good vibes, sending good vibes. It's a huge concept that's part of social media, that's part of our current, the current stage of life that we're all in. But what does it really mean? Because I think it's absolutely great that it's being introduced in that way, but we have to really think about what vibes or vibrations mean. So vibrations are the energy that emanates from you. When you think of all of life, you have to really think of that exchange of energy, because in reality, all of life is governed by the exchange and flow of this energy, the energy you give, the energy you receive. And believe it or not, so much of what happens to you in your life is based on the vibrations that you give out. When we talk about vibrations and energy, it's almost interchangeable, in which that energy that you give out is the vibrations or the vibes that you're sending into the universe, that you're sending into the world, that you're sending to different people and to different aspects of your life. And it can be both comforting and maybe even frightening and kind of a thrilling way to know that you have so much control over the outcome of your life. Something that's really empowering about this concept is the idea that if something is not vibrating on your level, it can affect you. And once you really get into that mindset, it is so much more difficult for something to have a negative impact on your life. Since I started to really integrate this concept into my life and really focus on having a more high vibrational lifestyle, I've noticed that the way that I respond to difficult situations is just so much easier. There are things that I have gone through this year that I don't know how I would have gotten through prior to introducing this into my life. There are things that have happened that I know previously, if it had happened in my life, I would have just wanted to curl up into a little ball and no longer exist. But since I have found and really studied more into this idea in spirituality, into knowing my dharma, knowing my path, knowing that I'm protected, and not allowing these things to affect me so that my vibration does not lower, it's really helped me. So what I want you to do next time that you are confronted with a difficult situation or a difficult person, whoever that might be in your life, maybe it's a family member, maybe it's a coworker or a friend of yours that is constantly just bringing negative energy into your life. I want you to think about your vibration being on a completely higher level. Think about all the positivity that you can bring into your life. Think about all of the wonderful things that you have. Because even if you're going through a difficult situation, even if you are in a rough spot in your life, there are so many things to be grateful for. So put yourself on that higher level and visualize the other person's energy trying to impact your energy when it's so much lower. How can it even make its way up there to get to you? I saw a really great analogy the other day for how we allow others' energy and the energy of negative situations to affect our lives. It basically says that, let's say you have $86,400 in your bank account and someone steals $10 from you. Do you spend the remainder of your $86,390 on something that tries to find the person and get your $10 back? Or do you just move on and live and let live and continue to be happy with the $86,390 that you have? You would most likely just move on. I feel like a lot of us have lost $5, $10 before, and it's kind of a bummer, but we move on with our day because there's a lot more that we have than that. Well, think of it in terms of the fact that you have 86,400 seconds in every day. So why are you going to waste all of that time allowing someone's negative 10 seconds to destroy the remaining 86,390? It's a lot like that. I thought it was a really good analogy for what we go through and a lot day to day. Even if it's more seconds, even if you feel like it's hours out of your day, I really implore you to look at the actual time that the person or the situation's negativity is really impacting you. And think about how much longer you're milking it for. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that there aren't situations that are going on in your life that are so much more difficult than that. It's not that black and white. But even for me, who's gone through some big challenges this year that can make a huge impact on my life, I found a way to not let them impact every single moment of every day. And a big part of that is knowing your dharma, knowing that you are protected, and that above all, everything is going to be okay because you say it's going to be okay, because you visualize that it's going to be okay. And that might sound sort of kooky to some of you who aren't familiar with it. I know I thought it was. I know that a few years ago, my doctor, Jay Guerra, told me to go into an interview and to visualize it all working out for me, and visualize me walking in there and impressing, the people who are interviewing me, and visualize me getting the call to get the job. And I was like, okay, Jay, sure, that's how it's going to work for me. I'm going to just visualize it and it's just going to happen. Well, no, there's a whole lot of other aspects that go into it, but I will be completely honest with you and say that I have to apologize to Jay because he was 100% right. Now that I have really implemented that visualization and having that faith in my path and in my dharma, and not allowing those situations to affect and just completely destroy my entire day from weeks and weeks to come, I have been so much happier, and also I have manifested quite a few things in my life just through visualization and through gratitude of feeling emotions that I would feel if those manifestations were to come true. And manifesting is a whole other topic that I really hope to get to and to talk further in depth with. But even going back to talking about not allowing these situations to affect everything in your whole life, your whole day, your whole week, it's not to say that you shouldn't feel how you feel. It's really important for you to feel how you feel. Some things are hard. Some things make us really sad. Some things have a huge impact on our lives, and that's okay. It's important to feel what you feel. It's important to allow yourself to experience those feelings. What's important to not do is to wallow in it forever. It's okay. It's okay to feel those feelings. A lot of that I'm also going to talk about in a later one, about different cravings, even when it comes to emotions, when it comes to foods, and honoring those feelings and honoring those cravings. It's very important. You cannot live on a restrictive lifestyle where you completely restrict yourself from feeling things and eating certain things. It's just not healthy. There's a lot of ideas that come into binging after those situations, after those periods of restriction, that we have to avoid. So yes, absolutely. Feel what you need to feel. But then get back up again. Realize that your vibration is higher than whatever situation that you're dealing with, and that there cannot be any long-term effect on your life, because once again, you are protected. You have a path. You have a purpose. And anything that is happening in your life is for a reason and is working to help you reach that purpose, even those really, really difficult, hard situations. It may be hard to say that some of the really terrible things that happen in this world are for a reason, but there is absolutely a plan in whichever way that you believe in it, whether it be a higher being that you believe in, whether it be yourself and your own power, your own energy, whether it be the fact that you are protected by your guides. There is a purpose for everything that you do in your life. And sometimes these situations that you're placed in are just meant to guide you down the right path. I know that was a specific purpose for the situations that I've gone through this year. I was not heading towards my dharma. I was being a little bit stubborn and trying to make other things work that I knew I wasn't passionate about, that I knew I wasn't that I knew weren't going to make me as happy as I really could be. I thought that I could do things that involved my passion, things that made me happy on the side while I continued to do other things that did not make me happy and did not bring passion to me, but that ensured that I was going to be financially stable. And I had to realize, because of everything that has happened, because of the situation that I was placed in, that that's not what's important. That I will be okay as long as I follow my dharma, I follow my path. So it's really put me in a different situation. It's really put me in a different place. And I think what's helped me through all of it is knowing that it's all happening in order to further my purpose and in order to help me vibrate higher, because definitely what I was doing before was bringing me down, was bringing my vibration down, because I wasn't happy, because I was not enjoying myself, because I was not living to serve my higher purpose. And it really had to kick me. It really had to push me back into my path, because I was being too stubborn to listen to all the little signs that were telling me to get back to my path. And that's okay. It may have been rough, but I'm really glad that I went through it, because I know that my life is only going to be better because of it. And there's other things that happen in life that are just part of life. And when you realize that, it puts things in perspective. So I want you all to really think about that when it comes to your life. There's other situations. This is not a fix-all. I know that there are other difficult things that people go through that put you in a really difficult mindset. I've struggled. I actually have ADHD. I've dealt with it my whole life. It makes me more susceptible to self-esteem issues, to anxiety and depression. And I definitely had to get to a better place with all of those issues before I could even focus on this step in my life. So if you're going through those things, I would really, really suggest that you seek out help to help get you through those issues. This concept can definitely be a driving force to help you through those issues, but I know that sometimes it takes a lot more than just this, than just a mindset and just believing in your power, because it's hard to do that. It's hard to believe in that power that you have to create the world that you want around you when you're struggling with all of these other issues. So keep that in mind as you continue to listen to this podcast, as you continue to try to implement the idea of having a more high vibrational lifestyle, of vibrating higher and really getting your energy in check. Take care of yourself first. Make sure that you're in a good place. That's what's most important about all of this. I just absolutely know that this is going to be an amazing and beautiful experience and step in my life, and I'm hoping in yours. I'm hoping that any way that I can facilitate anything that you're already going through on your path, on your journey towards having a more high vibrational lifestyle. There are so many things that I want to talk about, so many people that I want to introduce you to, some pretty familiar people that have guided me through this, some probably that are very well known in the community that I'm hoping to speak to in order to just help everybody along on this journey, through this path towards our dharma, towards living our most high vibrational life. I'm so excited. I am so excited to finally be doing this. This has been a long time coming when I decided that I really wanted to do this on this platform and decided that I wanted to share my voice, that this is the creative outlet that I needed in order to discuss what I wanted to discuss. So I'm happy that I'm finally starting it. I'm happy to finally be sharing this with you. I can't wait to meet all of you and to discuss all of the things that we need to discuss together and to grow together. It's going to be amazing. And I'm so grateful that I even have the opportunity to do this. So there's a lot to come. If there was absolutely anything that I talked about during this podcast, during this introduction to everything that's to come, please let me know. You can find me on Instagram at Dig Your Vibe. Send me a direct message or comment on the latest post for the specific episode that we're talking about. Or you could email me at digyourvibe@yahoo.com. There'll probably be another one to come, but that's the one I'm going to be working out of right now. If that changes, I will let you guys know. I personally want to thank you all for coming on this journey with me. If you found this, if you're listening to this, thank you so much. I would really greatly appreciate it if you could rate and review this on iTunes or wherever it is that you found me. Thank you so much again for joining me today. The light in me honors the beautiful, bright, and brilliant light in you. Namaste.